My name is Veronica. I'm also here with my colleague Jaime, who's with Ocean Protocol. And today I'll be talking about Predict ETH Challenge number 4. This is our fourth iteration of the Predict ETH Data Challenge series. And this one is a little bit different. So in this challenge, we'll actually be submitting predictions without getting scores for, or without getting rewards for just a valid submission. So you need to place in the top 3 in order to win Ocean rewards. So this is distinctly different from previous competitions where we did give 250 Ocean tokens for valid submissions. In this Predict ETH challenge, just the top 3 winners are going to get it because we have had so many participants that it's growing a lot. So last time we had about 22 or 24 submissions, something like that. And as this keeps growing and getting more popular, we have to, sustain the growth somehow. So I'm going to start sharing my screen and I'm going to walk through the README instructions on our Ocean Protocol GitHub. Go live. Okay. So you should be able to see my screen right now. And right now I am in the Ocean Protocol GitHub with the Predict ETH repository. And in the Predict ETH repository, from here, you can see some information in our main README that talks about the Predict ETH challenges in general, some data sources, data feeds that you could use for your model, your machine learning model to predict ETH, and then of course the current challenge and details about the current challenge. So I'm going to click on Predict ETH round 4, and then I'm going to talk through this README a little bit, and then if you have any questions about your ML model or about how to submit, then we can get to those. So first things first, the kickoff was on March 7th, and then you have until April 5th to submit predictions. So in this competition, you submit 12 predictions, one for every hour, beginning at 1 o'clock Universal Time Coordinated up until 12 o'clock p.m. And those predictions, oftentimes people wait to the last minute to submit or the last hour to submit because they're still feeding data into their model, and then that most recent data can dictate a little bit of variation of the predictions at right after midnight UTC. So we are talking about April 6th predictions, so the next 12 hours after the competition closes. And we are going to score the submissions purely on who has the lowest normalized mean squared error. So we basically, the judges are going to calculate all of the predictions that have been submitted, and whoever the top 3 people are with the lowest error in their predictions compared to what actually the values are for Ether price, those are the 3 winners who get the top 3 prizes. So you want to have the lowest prediction error, and for that you want to have a robust machine learning model and then feed it a lot of data. In general, the more data that you feed into a model, the lower the error rate is, and also how recent that data is. Again, that's why I mildly encourage you to wait until April 5th at least to feed that data into your model so that you do get the most accurate predictions on the output. Okay, so that's criteria to win, but more importantly, you need to follow the actual README guidelines. So if you don't publish your predictions in the correct flow, then you aren't eligible to even win. So it's really important that you follow the correct flow, and then from there, whoever has the lowest prediction error can win. And so the purpose of this workshop is to talk about how to submit and what are the key steps to flow through in order to submit properly. So we'll talk about signing up on DeSite's platform. Decites is a really cool company that Ocean actually helps to support as a competition, a data challenge platform. It was started by a former Ocean protocol employee, and so we work closely with them to host our data challenges. And then you're going to need to create an Ocean data NFT, and that data NFT is going to store your predictions, and your prediction values are going to need to be encrypted with the judge's public key. So we'll get into those details in a little later on in the workshop. But then you also need to transfer that data NFT to the Ocean judges before the submission deadline. So that could be a few minutes before, but you'll get a timestamp. You'll see when that is submitted so that you can be sure that you submit it on time. And then you take the transaction ID of this transfer and then you submit that to the Decites platform. And Decites, or Decites, I guess, however you would like to pronounce it, is going to be the platform where we kind of organize who has submitted and have they submitted on time. And so there's a lot of really great support there. I can show you their Discord, and I'll drop the link actually right now into the oh, I'm already in full screen mode. So let me just drop the link to Decites AI in our chat. Okay, let's go back to the event and then the chat here. Oh, hello, Harvolzy. I didn't see your handle when you joined, so welcome. Okay, this is the Decites AI server invitation, so please go ahead and join that if you're interested in competing. You're gonna want that. Okay, so back to where we were. The developer support for this competition, you have two places: on the Decites dev-support channel and in Ocean Protocols dev-support channel on each of our Discord servers. So you've got Ocean Core Tech, and then you've also got Decites Core Tech able to answer questions that you have. I recommend any submission questions that you have, that you, if you encounter any issues, that you ping the Decites dev support channel. And then if you have any questions about your algorithm or creating the data NFT in particular, then you should ping the Ocean dev-support channel on our Discord. Okay, this is the first Predict ETH workshop, but we'll have another one on March 28th. Each Predict ETH workshop is a little different. So if you feel like there was something not covered or questions that I didn't answer, then please feel free to join again on March 28th, closer to the deadline. Okay, so now to the fun stuff. A high-level overview of what we're doing is we are going to talk about how to get set up, how to get data locally and make predictions, and then publish and share your predictions with the judges. So the first thing to do is to register via Decites Discord. So you'll go to their Discord, and then you have to sign up with your basic information: email, a password, a typical sign up process, and then you can join the Decites platform. So you'll go to the invitees channel, and then tag the admins for access, and then they'll give you an access based on your ETH address. So that would be like a MetaMask or whatever Ethereum chain wallet that you would like. You just need an address to sign up and gain access. You can give it to, I recommend doing this in a DM instead of posting it publicly, just for better computer security. But of course, it's a public address, so it's pretty safe as well to put it in the channel. So they'll give you a profile based on that. And from that profile, then we'll know how to keep track of the competition entries, or Decites will know, and then they work with us at Ocean Protocol to be able to communicate who actually submitted. So when you go to Decites, so let me open the link in a new tab so that you can see. So remember, first thing that you have to do is join their Discord and then jump into the invitees channel and then gain access with your wallet address, right? So then what will happen is when you go to their website, you can connect your wallet. And let's see, I think the address that I use to connect to sites is in my MetaMask. So let's see here. You see my MetaMask is up here. Okay, great. So this is what it looks like. So my profile, so I haven't submitted to this challenge. The challenge is ongoing, and even if I was to submit, I would wait until nearly the last minute to submit my predictions. But basically, this is what your profile page looks like. So you need to create a profile page to get into this web page. Once you're in here, you can click Edit Profile, so you can see my name, my email, and you can always email me there if you would like. That's not my Ocean email, but anyway, that's an aside. So that's your profile. Of course, you need to connect the wallet that you used in the Discord. You need the address. You need to connect the wallet with the public address that you gave to sites in their Discord channel. And let me just jump into that so that you can see. Here, I'm still in full screen, so that you can see what that channel looks like. Okay, so right now I'm in the general channel, so there's some announcement events. You see dev-support has some activity, which is really good. Any questions that you have should go here. But the invitees channel is here. So let's look at this example. So Innopreneur is the CEO of Decites, the manager, the main moderator of the server. You just say hey, can you send me an invite to join Decites AI? And then this is my public address. And then with that, you can just log in. So back to the README instructions so that I stay organized here. Otherwise, I could just keep talking until the cows come home. Okay, so you create your Decites account, and then once you've done that, now it's time to start installing the Ocean Predict ETH library. And then this has an error calculation function and then other functions that will help you with this competition. So the next thing we do is we open up the terminal or git bash, depending on your machine, and then pip install predict-eth. And then you want to pip install ccxt and then these other Python libraries, because these are going to help your ML, your machine learning model actually run, right? So you need ccxt if you're going to use a ccxt data feed, which most of us all do, to feed in the open, high, low, close data of Ether prices, hourly Ether prices for predicting in the competition, right? And then what you'll do is a remote setup. So we'll talk about this. I'm going to open this in a new tab. You'll do a remote setup of the Ocean Python library, and then this will help you to create your data NFT. And if you think that there is a lot of friction in following these steps, just know that Ocean is a young company, and we have a very unique technology that is quite innovative and solves a lot of pain points in sharing data tokens. But we're working to simplify these steps over time, and it's really important just to gain feedback from our participants as to what works and what can be made efficient. So keep that in the back of your head as we collect feedback at the end from our competitors. So there's a lot of steps to maneuver through here, and we're here to help you. It's just that, this is where our tech is currently, and we really at this point are relying on your feedback to make things more streamlined and better. Okay, so let's jump into the setup remote.md. That's the remote setup README. Okay, the remote setup README is pretty simple. So once you install the Ocean Python library, you'll be able to continue on to these steps. So the first thing to do is configure Brownie. So you have installed by default in your OceanPython library a dependency called Brownie. And Brownie has a configuration file at the path, root hidden directory Brownie /network-config.yaml. This network config YAML file is what you need to look into and then edit. And so in this file, you need to make sure that instead of Infura URLs, actually that you are going to change the URLs for the RPCs from Infura URLs to the Matic Mumbai. Let me just open, let me see if it's down here. It is down here. It's documented down here. I was going to open my terminal and show you all of this, but this is in the steps. So what you want to do is you want to change the RPC URL for, instead of pointing to Infura in Brownie's config, you would point it to Matic Vigil RPC URL for Mumbai for the Polygon RPC URL. And what that does is that gets you ready to deploy a Ganache local blockchain, and then you can set up some accounts to be able to create that data NFT and then send the data NFT to the Ocean judges. So once you modify your Brownie's configuration file, you'll open up the Python console and then actually run these commands to create the user accounts for two different people we could call Alice and Bob, or account 1 and account 2. So once you do that, you want to give those accounts fake Matic and fake Ocean. And that will help to pay for gas and to transfer the data NFT. By default, you get 1 million Ether created on your Ganache local blockchain for all accounts. So what we're going to use is actually Matic instead. So ignore the Ganache, so we're going to use Matic to deploy the data NFT. And then when we transfer the data token, we're going to want Ocean tokens and then Ether, which comes by default with your Ganache local blockchain to transfer and pay for the data token. The data token itself, data NFT, you'll use Ocean tokens to pay for, fake Ocean tokens to pay for, and the Ether will be used for gas. So let's continue to the environmental variables. And again, if you have any questions, I'm trying to go quickly to respect your time and to respect mine. Does anyone have any questions at this point? Let me see if there's anything in the chat at this time. Let's see, I'm in events. And then no questions as of yet. Please don't feel afraid to interrupt me. Let me just pause here. Any questions yet? Or Jaime, am I missing something so far in my steps, or am I doing all right?
It's all good.
Okay, cool. All right, well, if there's no questions, let me continue on. So you'll need to export the private key for each of the accounts that you created. And the private key was printed in the Python console when you ran these steps. So once you export those private keys to your environmental variables, then you can actually create Alice and Bob's, giving Alice and Bob Matic and Ocean, and then allowing them to be able to create and then transfer a data NFT. So we're preparing them right now by giving them Matic and Ocean in this remote setup README. So once you export your private keys, and the steps are different on Windows, on Linux/Mac OS to Windows, it's just one keyword export versus set. So you open up your Python console, you can just copy this chunk of code and then paste it into your Python console and then continue on. So we finished the remote setup walkthrough. Then what you'll do is in that same Python console, run this command. So from the predict ETH library, .helpers dependency import or module, if you rather, import everything, I guess. Right, Jaime? Star is just everything because it's a wildcard regex for everything. Am I saying that correctly?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Cool. Yeah, I get a little self-conscious with regular expressions, rejects, right? Um, I'm just not a regex expert, but star usually means wild card. Okay, so continuing on, we are going to use the, let's see, we get the data locally, whatever you want. That is often going to be CCXT Binance API to fetch the open, high, low, close values for Ether USDT pair on the hourly interval. But you can use data feeds from wherever you want, including using different coin pairs to predict as best as possible Ether prices into the future. So maybe you say to yourself, okay, this is typical, people are going to use the Binance values for Ether USDT coin pair on the hourly interval. Maybe you want to predict Ether prices using a combination of Ether historical prices and Bitcoin historical prices. Or maybe you want to use DEX prices to model or to feed into your machine learning model and make predictions. Whatever feed that you want, you're going to want to pipe it into your machine learning model and then make predictions to then calculate the normalized mean squared error, NMSE, and then measure the accuracy before you ship your product. That's what we recommend until you're satisfied with your accuracy. Now, if you want, we give you an example using a random number generator. This is just to create random values, 12 random values, to be able to submit predictions, and that will work just for an end-to-end test, but it's not going to be useful to you. This is a placeholder for actually your machine learning model. And we do have some posts. I'll point you into the direction of actually Jaime's blog post on how to use Facebook Profit and with cross-validation machine learning model to be able to predict Ether. If you're looking for inspiration and motivation for your machine learning model, that's at blog.oceanprotocol.com. And let me paste in the link. We have this link. So I'm going to paste that into here. Okay, so this is an example walkthrough using Facebook Profit, or just known as Profit in the machine learning world. And Profit Machine Learning Library is going to help you predict the price of Ether, and then Jaime actually shows you how to use cross-validation to make it even more accurate and to smooth out the additive functions in that machine learning model. So going back to where we were, we are talking about normalized mean squared error. So when you get the normalized mean squared error, that's going to be what the judges are looking at to judge your predictions. So your predictions need to be as low normalized mean squared error value as possible. And then in your Python console, you'll need to import the Ocean Python library, the crypto module from Ocean Python library, and actually use this to encrypt your data NFT with the judge's public key so that no one else can see it, and then you'll send that to the judges. and then the transfer steps are in here. So you can just copy and paste these chunks of Python code, these commands, into your Python console after you followed the remote setup README file. And then continuing on, then you just submit your result to the Decites platform. So the Decites competition page for here, if I go to challenges and then Predict ETH 4, here we are. And let me paste this link for you guys also in the chat. So this URL shows you the description, evaluation criteria, prize pool, first place, second place, and third place, and then support instructions. So you can submit here with this purple button, submit your proposal for this competition there. Okay, cool. So back to the instructions. So once you do that, double check that you've done everything correctly. You'll want that transaction ID because we're going to use that for what the judges will use is that to be able to look at your values, right? Your predictions. So they're gonna use your data NFT, and then we'll want your transaction ID as well. So the judges are going to actually take a look using these commands at your data, at your predictions. So the judges use CCXT, Binance, open, high, low, close, Ether prices to judge your submission. So if you're using DEX prices, or if you're using a combination of data feeds, you're actually going to be possibly farther off the mark than what the judges are using. If you use Binance's data, then you may be closer, in fact, to the judges' predictions, right? Because the judges are going to be looking at the Binance results for the next 12 hours and see how close you are to those results. So definitely play around with your machine learning model, maybe actually feeding your model Binance price data for Ether may not be as effective as using DEX data or different sources, a combination of different sources, but actually the judges are going to look at the Binance prices, so it may help you to normalize your prices around what Binance is looking at, right? So just know that this is what they use to judge. And then we are going to look at the normalized mean squared error, and whoever top 3 has the lowest values, you can see on the Decites page, number 1 gets $2,500 payable in Ocean tokens, but this is the US dollar equivalent. Second place gets $1,500 and third place gets $1,000. So this is like getting a pay raise at the end of the year, or a bonus if you consider how significant these prizes are. It's definitely worth competing in. Again, I can't stress enough that we have support for you. There's support in the Decites Dev-support channel on Discord, and then the Ocean support channel is also here. Let's see. So much to look at. Why am I, here, Dev-support. It looks like this is in the archive. I'm going to ask why. I will ask Dev-support.
It seems they just moved it like today. I think they just created a new way to dev support.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, so I will contact some of the, oh, I see, they renamed it Core Tech. So maybe for the purposes of this competition, we can bring it back and have 2 in parallel until the competition ends. But if that's not going to be, if this is going to be archived, then please post it in Core-Tech, because all the Ocean Protocol technical help or core team members for engineering are going to be in the Core-Tech and also monitoring too, Dev-support. So you can see that in the dev support channel, like today, Anna is one of our engineers. She posted in this today. And so it looks like you'll want to head over to this channel, this forum. Okay. And then you can always chat also Core Tech. Let me scroll back down to Core Tech here. Cool. So that's what's maintained. If you get lost, just contact any one of us in general-chat. General chat is like a free-for-all, just warning you on that. But it is useful for any extraneous questions that you have that aren't answered or answerable in any other places. We'll guide you to where you should be for that. Okay, so back to Discord. Let me stop streaming here. We're in the events channel. Okay, so does anyone have any questions at this point? It could be about your model if you want to ask about that. It could be about submitting, whatever you want. Oh my gosh, I think this is one of the first Predict ETH workshops without questions. Let me check the chat as well. Maybe we have some shy question askers. Not seeing anything in the chat either. I'm just gonna give it a couple more seconds. Yep, Jaime?
I think that you have done a very good job, so probably it's clear for everyone.
Cool. I'm really happy to hear that. If you guys do have questions after this, you can find me. I'm graceful.coder on Discord. You can ping me directly on general chat. You can DM me if you like, or you can just go ahead and reach out to, like I said, the dev support archive, which is going to turn into a forum, or Core Tech. Core Tech is under working groups. So Core Tech is really good stuff here. But yeah, feel free to ping me and I will get you to the right place. And with that, I hope that you guys feel that I shortened this enough to keep your attention and that you have a wonderful rest of your day if you have a long day ahead of you.